Next up is a recent but rising star in our club. Leo loves summers, but his favorite season has always been fall because he loves Halloween. What do you do? He also loves cats, so we can't be too judgy about that. He's also the only guy I know who can eat a dozen pancakes. Did you know that? Today, he's going to be giving us a speech as part of the presentation mastery pathways, which I really appreciate as VP of Education, that is. The title of the speech is The Tunnel Beneath the Cemetery, and the timing is 3 to 5 minutes. The Tunnel Beneath the Cemetery by Leo Meza. Leo Meza, Tunnel Beneath the Cemetery.
Thank you for that introduction, Naresh. I really appreciate it, especially the part about pancakes. Moving in, I that is true. I do like the fall because it has the best weather, and Halloween is my favorite. I like putting on a good scary movie, and I've never understood why we like scary movies. It doesn't really make sense. But there's a place in Palos Verdes. It's beneath the cemetery. There's this tunnel, and they say that if you go deep enough, you'll see a ghost. They call it Hitler's Tunnel. I don't know why. And it's probably closed now because people kept going. It's trespassing. But the first time that I went, I was in high school with some older friends. I was maybe 15 at the time. And this tunnel, it was 10 feet wide by 10 feet high. The first thing that I remember about it is upon entering, at the entrance, it was spray painted on the ground. It said, "Turn back." And we were debating whether or not that's a threat or people are like trying to build up this mythology around it. Like, this is a scary place, turn back. I don't know, but maybe you can decide for yourselves. This tunnel, it was pitch black, but we had our phones to use for flashlights, and going in covered in graffiti. Some of it was gang graffiti. Other times it said things like 666. These are hexes. The witches that you've heard of from history are buried here. Stuff like that. It had a very fun feel. It was very adventurous, but we were looking for that ghost that we were supposed to see if you went deep enough. And at a certain point, that's all it became. It's pentagrams. Somebody wrote the word devil hundreds of times circling the tunnel. And I can only imagine how long that must have taken. I don't know how long we were there. It must have been an hour. But the deeper that we went, there was this sludge. It's kind of like the sewer water. It started to rise. And we had to walk on the sides so we wouldn't step in the filth with our shoes. And after we had been talking, we had been walking for about 10 minutes, we heard a moaning. It was echoing through the wall. It was deeper in. And we didn't know what to do. We were already so deep into the tunnel that it would have taken us forever to come back out. And my friend, I guess it was instinctually, she yelled out, "Hello?" And whatever it was, it hurt us because moaning turned into panting, almost like it was running towards us. It would only be a few minutes before we met it, and we froze. That's when my friend said, "I have a knife." We were preparing for the worst. And it kept getting closer and louder and closer until we saw a shadowy figure down the tunnel. And it just kind of stood there once we finally saw it. And it said, "I'm sorry, guys, I was just messing around." Turns out it was a guy with his friends, and it looked like they were drunk, just some idiots. And as we were passing each other, because they were leaving the tunnel when we were going deeper, they said, "Stay safe." I never saw those people again, and to be honest, I am glad I never saw them again. They sound like a riot. I don't. They party too hard for me. But every time I think about that, when I think about it, we were stuck in a tunnel. We were deep in a tunnel, and we came across other people. What if those people had bad intentions? It's a situation to be stuck in. And I think about what my grandma always used to say, which is something along the lines of, like, the safest place to be is just indoors. The older I get, the more it makes sense because life can be so strange. So I'll leave you with this. If you go looking for adventure, you may just see a ghost. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
It was Halloween. I felt like I was in Halloween. You weren't kidding about liking Halloween. I love ghost stories. I love horror movies too. Thank you for that excellent speech, Leo. Timer, could you give us a minute so people can send him comments?